Respect cannot be demanded, purchased, or forced. It is earned through the way you think, act, and carry yourself every single day. Many men begin semen retention expecting only physical or mental benefits, but over time they notice something deeper. People start treating them differently. Conversations become more genuine. Others listen more carefully when they speak. Their presence begins commanding respect without needing to ask for it. This transformation does not happen because of a mystical force. It happens because retention encourages habits that naturally strengthen character. When character changes, presence changes. And when presence changes, the way people respond to you often changes as well. Most people lose respect because they constantly seek approval. They change their opinions to fit in, avoid difficult conversations, and sacrifice their values just to be accepted. This creates an unstable identity. During semen retention, however, many men begin shifting their focus away from external validation and toward internal discipline. Every day of self-control strengthens self-respect. As your self-respect grows, your behavior becomes more authentic. People instinctively recognize authenticity because it reflects confidence that does not depend on the opinions of others. A man who stands firmly by his principles naturally earns more respect than someone who constantly seeks acceptance. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius believed that your character is built by the choices you repeatedly make. Retention is ultimately a daily decision to choose long-term growth over short-term pleasure. Every disciplined choice strengthens your identity. Over weeks and months, these repeated choices shape your habits, your mindset, and eventually your presence. People may never know the reason behind your transformation, but they often recognize its effects. Consistency creates credibility, and credibility naturally commands respect. Another reason your aura begins commanding respect is because emotional stability replaces emotional impulsiveness. Many people react immediately to criticism, rejection, frustration, or temptation. Their emotions control their decisions. But through discipline and self-awareness, you begin creating space between emotion and action. Instead of reacting instantly, you learn to respond thoughtfully. This emotional maturity changes the energy you project. Calmness during difficult situations is one of the clearest signs of inner strength, and strength expressed through composure naturally earns admiration. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that no one can truly control your mind unless you allow them to. This lesson becomes especially meaningful during retention. The more control you gain over your own impulses, the less control external circumstances have over your peace of mind. You become harder to provoke, harder to manipulate, and harder to distract. That emotional independence creates quiet authority because people instinctively respect individuals who remain grounded regardless of what is happening around them. Your body language also begins changing naturally. Instead of moving with nervous energy, your movements become more deliberate. Your posture improves. Your eye contact becomes steadier. You speak with greater intention rather than filling every silence with unnecessary words. Human beings constantly interpret these nonverbal signals. Calm body language communicates confidence, while restless movements often communicate uncertainty. As your internal discipline grows, your external presence begins reflecting that discipline without conscious effort. Another powerful shift happens in the way you value your time. During retention, many men begin focusing more on meaningful goals, productive habits, physical health, and personal growth. This creates a sense of purpose. purpose changes priorities. Instead of chasing distractions, you begin investing your energy into building a better version of yourself. People naturally respect those who respect their own time because purposeful living demonstrates responsibility and maturity. The philosopher Seneca believed that a disciplined life creates freedom. Every habit that strengthens self-control also strengthens character. Over time, people stop seeing you as someone driven by impulses and begin seeing you as someone guided by principles. Character becomes visible through consistency. When your actions repeatedly align with your words, trust begins developing. Respect grows where trust exists. Another reason your aura commands respect is because you become more comfortable with silence. You stop speaking merely to impress people. Instead, you begin listening carefully, observing more, and speaking only when your words add value. Silence backed by confidence creates impact because it reflects security rather than insecurity. In today's world of constant noise, thoughtful restraint often stands out more than endless conversation. Ultimately, the aura that commands respect during semen retention is not created by retention alone. It is created by the discipline, emotional control, purpose, consistency, and self-mastery that retention encourages. When you consistently master yourself instead of being mastered by impulses, your entire presence changes. And while people may never know exactly why they respect you more, they often recognize the quiet strength of a man who has learned to govern himself before trying to influence the world. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that a man's value is measured by the quality of his character rather than the praise he receives. During semen retention, this lesson becomes increasingly relevant. You stop measuring your worth by likes, compliments, or validation and begin measuring it by your actions. Every disciplined decision strengthens your integrity. Over time, people begin noticing that your behavior remains consistent regardless of who is watching. Consistency creates trust, and trust naturally evolves into respect because people know they are dealing with someone who remains true to his principles. Another reason your aura commands respect is because you develop patience. Modern society conditions people to expect immediate gratification, immediate success, and immediate pleasure. But retention teaches you to delay gratification and invest in long-term rewards. This patient mindset begins influencing every part of your life. You stop rushing conversations, decisions, and relationships. Instead, you move with intention and confidence. A patient man appears emotionally mature because he understands that lasting success is built through consistent effort rather than impulsive action. That maturity quietly separates you from the crowd. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus believed that true freedom belongs to the person who has mastered his own desires. This freedom becomes visible in your interactions because you no longer appear emotionally dependent on outcomes. Whether someone agrees with you or not, whether circumstances go your way or not, your inner peace remains largely intact. This emotional independence creates an aura of strength because people naturally admire those who cannot be easily shaken by external events. Stability is one of the rarest forms of power in today's world. You become comfortable allowing your actions to speak louder than your words. This quiet confidence often leaves a stronger impression than endless self-promotion because genuine strength rarely announces itself. Your aura also begins commanding respect because your decisions become guided by principles rather than emotions. You stop allowing temporary moods to determine permanent actions. Instead, your values become the foundation of your choices. This consistency creates predictability in the best possible way. People know where you stand because your actions align with your beliefs. Integrity like this is increasingly rare, and rarity naturally earns admiration and respect.